Hello, everybody. It's Friday night, and I hope you all are doing well. It's been a very, very busy couple of days for me. Um, I think the last video I made was on Wednesday evening, and that afternoon, the what they call the admission nurse came to open my case for hospice. So that was just, like signing me up. And and then yesterday I had the regular nurse who's going to be coming to visit me. She came yesterday, and so did the chaplain. And then today came the social worker. So now I've met the entire team, and they're all just lovely people. So that's really good. One of the things that hospice, because it's a benefit of Medicare, and of course that has to do with money, as it does everything else. Certain medications they'll allow you to continue to take, and certain ones they won't, and they'll try to find an equivalent, what they say is an equivalent, that will be, of course, to them, something that's on their formulary, so therefore a lot cheaper. So the main pain medication that I've been on now for a couple of years is the medication that they won't pay for, of all things in hospice, So they had to come up with another alternative, and usually hospice loves to use morphine as their base. But I can't take morphine because it makes me very, very sick, like continuous nausea and vomiting. So I told them I can't take that. I just can't take it. So we came down to what they wanted to start me on was another medication called methadone, which a lot of people have heard of because it's a drug that's often used to help people to get off street drugs, particularly like heroin or an opioid addiction. And it's used primarily because it's legal, because it has a legitimate use in pain management. But they use methadone as a way to get people off street drugs because it's a long-acting medication, so you can just get 2 times a day dosing, and it's, as far as I know, it's pretty inexpensive. And so when they do it for people who are on methadone maintenance, they do it and then decrease the amount that they receive over time to get them off the medication. And sometimes people just are on it for good. So anyway, that's the medication they picked for me. And in changing medications, it takes methadone as a medication that gets into your system, and it has to build up to a certain point for it to even really be effective. So I didn't really think too much about this. I was a little concerned, but so that means I had to stop what I was on. So the last dose I had of that was on Tuesday evening. So I started the new medication on Wednesday morning. Yeah, Wednesday morning. No, yes, Wednesday morning. And that medication, basically, because it's a change in medication and it's not built up in my system, it was basically like taking nothing. So during the day Wednesday, I felt really pretty lousy. And but they said I could also take another medicine to if to help support with the pain that I could. It's a short acting one that I could take in between doses till the methadone builds up. So anyway, having never taken methadone, I didn't know what to expect, and Wednesday was kind of a rough day, but yesterday was even worse. So I had Wednesday morning and Wednesday evening, and by Wednesday afternoon, I was really having a tough time with a lot of pain and very irritable and edgy. And when the nurse came, she told me about another medication that they gave me, which I didn't even know because it was in their comfort box, that I could use that in addition to the short acting. Do you see what a freaking mess it is? I was like, now instead of taking one medication, I'm taking 3, so we can get this evened out. I don't know. What can I tell you? It's the way it is. So I'm trying to work with it, trying to accept it. But by yesterday morning, I was on edge. I was snapping at people. I was a mess. I don't even know what else to say. I was a mess. I'm actually kind of embarrassed at how snappy I was, because that's not how I usually am. So I went through the day yesterday. I thought, okay, I'll just, and the nurse told me that I could take more of this other medicine. So it did help some take the edge off. It didn't help a whole, change the pain a lot, but it did take that edginess a little bit down. And then this morning, starting a new cycle again, I did feel that the edginess was down even a little bit more. But still, I'm using the other 2 to kind of fill in until everything evens out. And so it's difficult because I don't, these are drugs I haven't taken, and I don't know, and I'm finding that I have to be really careful because I don't know how much is too much, whereas it may not be that much for another person. So it's been difficult and very uncomfortable. And yeah, that's all I can say. So I'm very glad to be on hospice. I'm really am glad to be on hospice, and I feel that they're going to offer me a lot of support, and that this was really an important move for me. I guess, this transition is going to be hard. Is hard. It's been hard already now. This is basically day 2.5, and I'm exhausted just because, I had people here. I didn't get a chance to eat when I usually eat. So for 2 days, I really haven't had a meal. I've just snacked for 2 days. And so this weekend, I'm looking forward to hopefully just sort of nobody will be having to visit me. No more, visitors from hospice have to come in. The nurse will come back on Monday and, assess things from there. So I'm just this weekend going to, as best I can, take it real easy, sleep when I need to sleep. I'm finding it really hard to meditate right now, which is something that's important to me to keep kind of stabilized. And I just feel completely in chaos right now. So I guess the good news is I'm aware of it, and I just have to work with it. And another very cool thing, though, I have to say, is the chaplain that they have Normally I wouldn't use a chaplain service, and you don't have to use a chaplain service to be on hospice. They just have one available. But when I told the nurse, I said, I'm Buddhist, and she said, oh, well, we have one of our chaplains is a Buddhist monk. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. He doesn't normally work in my area, but she said, I'll put it out there and see if he can come and see you. So she did, and he did. He came yesterday afternoon, and it was great. So the chaplain is a Buddhist. He's actually a monk. So I thought that was very cool, so that at least I have that support, which I did not expect at all. So I'm happy about that. So I'm going to keep this short because I'm a mess. I'm a mess right now. I really am. I know I am. And I don't want to just blabber on because I kind of feel like kind of out of it right now and tired. And so that's where it's at now. I'm trying to, like I said, share everything along the way. If you ever get on hospice, know that getting on hospice, at least the very beginning, is exhausting. And but I'm sure it will settle in for however long I have left. So I'll talk again tomorrow or the next day when I feel a little more with it and a little less tired, and yeah. Okay. So hopefully this continues my intention to give support or offer encouragement to anybody else going through this or who has a loved one going through this. So I'm going to say goodnight and thank you very much for listening. Okay? Good night.